Hello everyone, I am Ramon. Welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in today's video I'm going to continue our fall decorating ideas and DIYs for fall 2024. In this particular video I'm going to share with you 10 decorating ideas and DIYs to decorate your home in the fall season this year 2024. I could never be more excited to share this compilation with you of some of the best swags, wreaths, tabletop arrangements for fall, and I am super excited. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you are already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss all of the fall and Christmas season for 2024. And if you are ready, we're gonna get started with fall decorating DIY number 1. Let's take a look. All right, everyone, so for our very first fall DIY, we're going to be making this beautiful candlestick with a pumpkin, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. But the materials we're going to need is going to be some of these eucalyptus from David Christopher's that I already pre-cut to save us some time. I'm also going to use some of these mom flowers from the at-home store. I'm gonna use some fall foliages that I already had on my stash. I'm gonna use a cream pumpkin. I'm gonna use some burlap ribbon, and any burlap ribbon will do. I just like these little rolls. They're affordable, so that's what I like to use, and it has a really good wire. I'm gonna use a wire, of course, some florist tape. I'm gonna use some of my clear tape, some skewers, some mini pumpkins that are wrapped in sweater material, of course, a beautiful candlestick, a piece of foam. I'm gonna use my wire cutters and my scissors. And then also I'm gonna use a little white cloth because when you are using a glass against something that is hard, you can break your glass, and especially this mercury glass seems to be a little bit more delicate. All right, so I'm just gonna move all of it to the side because it'll be easier to just go ahead and get started with this. So I'm gonna move everything that I don't need right now over to this side so we can make this the center of attention. So you know what I like to do is all of my tools to one side and all of my materials to the next. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this candlestick. And to do that, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the little plastic wrapper. I usually tell you to leave the plastic wrapper, but that is if this foam is the one that crumbles. This is more of a hard foam. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna place it, and look how perfect that fits into my candlestick, right? So that's perfect. If you are not gonna use your candlesticks for any other reasons but for this project, then I would say go ahead and glue it. But because these are my candlesticks that I like to use during the holiday season, then I'm just gonna go ahead and tape it. And for that, I'm gonna get some of this clear tape. This clear tape is a florist tape that you can find at your local Hobby Lobby. That's where I got mine, or anywhere where you find florist supplies. And so basically what I'm going to is I'm just gonna go around my perimeter once, then I'm gonna cut right here, and that's going to secure our candlestick in place. And it'll be easy to peel it off. As you guys can see, it'll hold it. And then a secret is to just fold the tip of your tape so that way you're not like looking for your tape when you are using it. So there you go. So that's number 1. So step number 2 will be to add our pumpkin. And for that, I already pre-skewered it. But you know what? I think it's a little too tall, so I'm gonna cut those a little bit shorter. I wanna make sure that it goes all the way down and it's secure. Once again, if you are making this perhaps for a centerpiece or for a dinner party, I really do recommend to go ahead and just put a little dab of glue. But since I'm not doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and put my pumpkin down. Look how easy that went in. So easy, right? And so I think that's as far down as it'll go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab, you know what, I'm gonna first grab some of these beautiful eucalyptus from David Christopher's. And remember, you guys, that you get extra 10% off with the code Ramon10 on their website. So I recommend to go shop it. It's not just for Christmas, it's all throughout the website. All you have to do is at checkout, do the code Ramon10. And just so you know, I am not getting paid for it. I'm just, they were gracious enough to allow us to give you that discount. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start right here. So I'm gonna go right here to my right, and remember what happens on the right happens on the left. Then I'm gonna spin a little bit, and I love my Lazy Susan for that reason. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the bottom. So I'm gonna go, what happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down. And the reason you wanna do this is because you want to make sure that you have enough of the material for all of your project. And so I'm going to do a crisscross right here. So as you guys can see, it's all the way around. And so now with the ones that I have left, and this is just one pick of this beautiful eucalyptus. It's almost like a real touched eucalyptus. It looks so real and it feels absolutely beautiful in your hand. It has a really good hand. So you just go around your pumpkin and look at that. You're creating this cascading beautiful motion. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of these beautiful picks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them all at once. Remember, I like to do that just to save us some money. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this fall series. Remember, so far the first fall series video that we did was a beautiful centerpiece using a cream pumpkin, and then I did a wreath. I showed you how to do a beautiful bow with 4 types of ribbons. Then I shared with you how to do I think we did another wreath, and then we did a large centerpiece. And all of those videos for the fall season are going to be linked down below so you guys can catch up. And there's more coming your way, so I really do hope that you are as excited as I am for the fall season. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start filling in my perimeter of my pumpkin like this. And you know what, some of them are too long, so just grab your snippers, as I like to call them, my snippers. And what we're going to do is we're gonna start filling in this pumpkin. And let me tell you, fall is one of my favorite seasons of the year because of the smells and the colors. When I lived in Kansas, I love telling this story, but when I lived in the Midwest, I used to go running all the time, and my favorite time to run outside was during the fall because you get all of the smells and all of the season changes. Like there was this beautiful trail that I used to jog at, and during the fall season, there was evergreens and there was trees, and so the smell of the evergreen with the fall foliage, I wish I can bottle that up and sell you a candle because that was such a beautiful smell. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just going all the way around, and I'm just inserting some of these beautiful foliages like this, trying to cover as much as I can of my foam like this. Look how easy this is, you guys, and look how elegant this is, and it can make your home look. This would be perfect for an entryway table. Imagine this with some photographs right here. I'll show you at the end of this video what it's going to look like. It also could be perfect for a centerpiece. So it is a multi-purpose DIY, and this is the kind of DIYs that I love to do, multi-purpose, because you know, you make it once and then you can move it around the home. You know, if you are anything like me, I love to move furniture around. I'm sure you guys have seen here on my channel. I love to create new spaces, and so that's my favorite thing to do. And so multi-purpose DIYs is the way to go because you only spend once, right? And you get to play with it a long time. All right, so I'm gonna go, this is my last one of this, so I'm gonna go right here. All right, so far look how cascading it looks. It was really, really pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of these white mums from the at-home store. And these are perfect as a filler, and it also has this grass that is gonna allow it to really jump out. And it's gonna add some floral element to it, because I don't like to do a floral arrangement without, well, flowers, right? This is supposed to be a floral arrangement. So basically I'm just going up and down, and look at that. You can do some long ones. Where's my flowers? You can do some short ones. You can just let this be as exciting and as beautiful as you want it to be. And this is what the beautiful thing about floral arrangements, you know, they can be anything you want them to be. So you don't have to really have a specific way of doing it. It's just as long as you love what you're doing. That's what floral arrangements are, because there's no perfection in nature. Mother Nature does not produce perfect, so therefore why are we seeking perfection, right? All right, so far so good. So this is what it's looking like. Look how cute this is with the natural fall foliage. So pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the little pumpkins at the end. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the side. And I want to tie a quick, cute little bow. Something quick and easy. Something that is not going to take a lot of time, because we don't want to be spending all of our time doing one particular project, right? So for this particular bow, I'm just going to cut on an angle. I'm actually going to dovetail. And I want like a sweet little bow, nothing too overpowering. So basically what I'm going to do is maybe 4 or 5 loops. And look how easy it is. So basically you pinch, twist, pinch, twist. I'm gonna do a 3-loop bow with a long tail. That's what I feel like doing. That is the other thing, you guys. You don't have to do the same bow over and over and over again. Let me see if I have a skewer somewhere over here. Yeah, I have one. Sorry if I disappear. But I'm looking at one of these skewers that I use. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my, actually, you know what? I also have a wire over here. I'm gonna grab my wire. I'm gonna pull really tight. And see how this bow really doesn't overpower, and I'll show you in a minute, but first let me dovetail this end. And what you want to do with wire when you cut it, you guys, you want to leave it that curl, the natural curl that comes on the roll. So to recurl it, just run your fingers through it lightly. And so now I'm going to put this on a skewer like this. Just wrap that rest of that wire, and look, now you have a picked skewer. So I'm gonna bring my arrangement back into the picture, but first I have to put my little towel, because if I don't, I'll probably break it. All right, so now how sweet is this cute little bow? So I'm just basically going to look for the perfect space for it, and I think it's gonna be right here. All right, you guys, so I am back. The last thing I wanted to add to this arrangement is some of this Spanish moss, because you might be able to see some of the green of the foam. So what you want to do is you want to look for places like that, and then you want to stick some of this foam. And it's pretty if you let it drip down, because it does look more natural. So basically just open a spot, and then just with your finger tuck it in, and it will get tucked in into all of the greeneries, because Spanish moss has a tendency to just latch on to things that is near. So I'm gonna add one right here, right next to my pumpkin. See, and that covers all of that greenery. I'm gonna step away from it to make sure that I don't see any more. Yes, that is. Let me get this ready, and I'll give you a close-up real quick. Keep watching. All right, so I wanted to give you a quick peek and close-up to this beautiful arrangement. It is super easy to make, you guys. This is how easy it is to decorate for the fall season, and I really hope that you would give it a try. It is nothing but a pumpkin, some foliages, a little bit of this burlap ribbon, and some of these beautiful flowers right here. You put a set of pictures on the side, as you guys can see, and it really does create that beautiful feel. This can be put on your entryway table, on your coffee table, perhaps even if you have a bigger bedroom, on your bedside table. And I really do think that adds that beautiful fall decorating feel to your stay, and then also to the whole room. Okay, before we continue with our next DIY, speaking of multi-purpose, I wanted to share with you how easy it is to transition from the pumpkin that we made this beautiful arrangement to adding an actual candle. Look how absolutely beautiful this is. If you have one of these remote operated, all you have to do is turn it on, and you got yourself a beautiful dual DIY for your fall decorating. And this is absolutely gorgeous, super easy to make, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. All right, so I have cut all of my greenery that I'm going to use, both the eucalyptus and the maple. And so I'm gonna start by telling you about the wire, you guys. You cannot do this step, but I always recommend, first of all, you have to find the wreath shape that you like the best. So I'm gonna probably go, probably like that. So what you need to do is grab your wire, and then you're gonna get some of this florist tape that you can find at any floral supplier. It has this tacky wax in it, and you pull a little bit on it, and what you need to do is you need to cover this wire with this florist tape. So what we're going to do is we're gonna grab our wreath, and we're gonna go through right here, and we wanna go back, and very tightly we're going to wrap this wire. You do not want to miss this step, you guys, because that's what you're gonna use to hang it on your door. So you want to also grab back, and then just start spinning that wire around, and you give yourself this extra hanger right here. But for the video purposes, we're going to do that because I need you to see the whole thing. All right, I'm super excited because I haven't gotten to use my hot glue gun in a long time. So what I'm going to do is, you know that I like to use one foliage at a time, and I always like to fluff them. So what you need to do is grab your hot glue gun, get it ready, and then you want to make sure that, first of all, it's working. All right, see, I haven't used it in so long that it's not even working. And I'm gonna start right here on the top, and we wanna make sure that we glue this together because it's going to be outside, so we wanna make sure that those elements don't get to our wreath. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So make sure you open all of this and you add some glue right here. Are you guys as excited as I am for fall? I don't know where y'all from, and be sure to leave a comment down below, but it's been super hot here in California, and I am ready for some cooler weather, and that is something that fall always delivers, so I'm really excited. Now, I want to mention real quick, especially if you make this to sell, when you are adding your greeneries, you have to go all in one motion. I say clock motion or counterclock, pick one, but you don't want to go like that and then go like that because it kind of breaks that pattern, okay? All right, so we have finished our wreath, our greening of our wreath, and I love it. I have let it sit for a few minutes so that glue really sits in and it gets tacky and will be permanent. So the next step will be to add some ribbons and some bows to our wreath. And as I told you before, I am obsessed with this beautiful pumpkin ribbon and then also this glitter ribbon. But the way I want to do it, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. I hope you are as well. I want to give it a few tails, probably about 6-inch tail, and then I want to do a few of these bows. So I want to do probably about a 6-inch loop. We're gonna do 3-inch loops, all right? So, and then we're gonna give it another tail. We're gonna grab a wire, and then we're going to twist it, and then we're gonna grab our scissors and we're going to cut right here. And then we're gonna put it aside. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop that glitter one, and then also I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, this ribbon is so gorgeous. I'm gonna do with this one probably about 6 to 7-inch loops. And for this particular one, I'm gonna do 2 loop bows. I'm gonna do 3 because why not? Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Look how gorgeous this is. And then I'm going to grab my wire and I'm gonna wire it together like this. And I'm gonna give it another loop. Another tail. And then I'm gonna put it over here, and we're gonna do one more. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is I wanna add one up here on the top. And for this one, I left a little bit longer of a tail, and I'm just gonna find the place. I want it to be right in the center. So I'm gonna go through my hook that we made on the back, and then I'm going to attach right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and spin it around, and then I'll go back later on and then I'll cut those ribbons. So I'm gonna add one right there, then I'm gonna do a glitter one. And I'm gonna add one right here, right next to it. I'm gonna go all the way back, making sure that I attach very tightly. Oy. Sometimes it's hard because all of this foliage, but just make sure that you go like this, and then you go all the way back. I'm gonna move all the way over here so I can do it, because it has to be really tight so it doesn't come crashing down. There you go. And then we're gonna fluff that like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go over to this side. Sorry if I disappear, but I have to go over to this side. And then we're going to add this guy, skipping all of this beautiful foliage like this. And I'm gonna attach this guy right there. Then I'm gonna grab one of my pumpkin ribbons, and while I'm on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and attach another one over here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a space because there's going to be some pumpkins that are gonna come into play. So I wanna make sure that I have space for them in between the bows. But I also do wanna make sure that all of these are very tightly secure on the back, like this. And we'll go back and cut those dovetails, you guys. Then I'm gonna move over to this side, and I'm gonna go about 6 inches further down, and then I'm going to attach this guy right here. Okay, so far I've added the greenery, and then I added all of these bows all scattered throughout the wreath, and I dovetail every single ribbon, and that was a lot of them. So the next step is going to be to add some of these beautiful pumpkins, and for that I have gathered some of these skewers, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch a hole on them, and then also what I want to do is I want to make sure that I add some hot glue to these stakes, so that way when it goes down, it'll stay right there. So you want probably about a 3-inch leadway so you can have your pumpkin. So basically just poke it like that, stick it out, and add some glue to it. That's gonna make sure that that's permanent and that stake is not going anywhere. And I'm gonna do the same to these two right here that come on a package. These are also from Shinoda Design Center. And I absolutely love them because I love the color. They're perfect for this project, this neutral project. So basically what I'm going to do is go like that, and then I'm gonna add some glue to my stake, just a little bit to make sure it doesn't come crashing down like that. There you go, and one more. I have some little ones that I don't know if I'm gonna use yet, but I got them out just in case. All right, so let's do that. And add some glue to it and stick it in there. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna start with this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna find a place for it. I'm gonna put it right here, so you kind of have to step back and see where you want it. Once you put the glue in it, make sure that you take your greenery and then you push it in like that. That's gonna stay like that. All right, and then let me see, I'm gonna add one over here on the top, and just make sure that that glue goes all the way down on your stake. You can smear it, and then I'm gonna open right here. I'm gonna add it right in here like that. Okay, so now we're going to add our beautiful roses that are made out of burlap and some lilies. This is turning out more beautiful than I thought, and I'm super stoked. So what we're going to do is we're gonna cut some of these flowers. Now pay attention, we cut the flower and then we have some cute little foliage. Well, I'm also gonna cut that because I wanna use as much as I can for my product, because well, already, like I told you earlier, you just paid for it, so why not just go ahead and use all of it. All right, so what I'm going to do is get these tags, and always get your tags ready. I'm gonna start with these ones just to show you. So what I want you to do is get your rose and then give it a little curvature like this, and we're gonna start inserting these flowers. Not before we add some of this hot glue right here. Now a lot of people ask me what hot glue I use. If I'm using my hot glue pen, there's a pellet glue that I like. But if I'm using this hot glue gun, then I like the Gorilla Glue because I think it's the best. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of this cute little foliage. Right where I put that flower, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add, somewhere near there, I'm gonna add some of this foliage because you wanna make sure that you support that flower with the foliage. And remember, we'll fluff our bows towards the end. All right, so now I'm gonna put this few over here. Then I'm gonna add some lilies because we have them, and these ones, I really want them to fly away. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some glue right here. And I'm gonna lift up my ribbon right here. I'm gonna come down from the bottom like this. All right, you guys, so far I love the way this is looking. It's so natural looking. However, I do feel like it needs a little bit of pizzazz, and for that I found this beautiful magnolia that I'm gonna be using on it. And just a few quick tips. Be sure to fluff them so you can see all of this beautiful design forward when you insert your magnolia. And then also, you know what, I'm gonna cut them in half because I feel like, let's see, yeah. So that way you get more, and then it's just a little touch to add that gold. And basically, once again, just go ahead and give it a curvature, add a little glue, and be careful not to burn yourself again like I just did. I'm gonna lift up all of this right here, then I'm gonna insert like that, and look, that little magnolia just adds so much to the design. So I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna add a little glue right here, And I'm gonna open up right here as well. And this time I'm gonna be really careful, and I'm gonna just go ahead and insert this guy right there and open it like this. Remember, we're gonna fluff all of our ribbons towards the end, because when you add ribbon first, and sometimes you have to add it first, it just really is hard to continue to work without having all of those ribbons a little disheveled, but you always fluff at the end. All right, well, to make this short, I'm gonna continue to do this all throughout the wreath, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so I just wanna show you a close-up of this wreath and how it turned out. I am so in love with this ribbon, you guys. It's jam-packed with glitter, and it goes so well with the lilies and the white pumpkins. And I just love the way they look, how they just fell into the wreath. And the pumpkin ribbon is so absolutely beautiful. And all of these burlap flowers, the roses and the mocha and the chocolate. And the last touch that we added was that magnolia with the gold tips, and it just screams fall. And I really do hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you learned a few tricks. So be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right, you guys, so let's take a little break from all of these fall decorating DIYs. I just want to ask you to please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp, so they too can come and join the fall season here at Ramon at Home. Also the Christmas, because it is fast approaching. All right, you guys, let's get back to the video and to all of these beautiful fall decorating ideas and DIYs. Okay, so let's get started. The first step is going to be to incorporate some of the foliages that we use in our wreath, and then also on our basket and all of the DIYs that we've been doing. Because when you are doing DIYs for your home, you want to make sure that they are as cohesive as possible all throughout the house. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this foliage a little bit shorter, because I just want it to be a little peekaboo of the same product without having to overpower all of these centerpiece. But I am so in love with this foliage. It looks so real, and it's so real to the touch as well. So basically you want to do little cuts like this, some big stems like this. You guys, I'm telling you, you can get most of your money's worth if you go ahead and split them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, see how it splits right here on the arm? Well, you split the arm and then you cut, and now you have a few more of those foliages. And I'm gonna do the same to this greenery, so I'll be right back. All right, so now that our foliages are cut short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start introducing my foliage, and I'm gonna start right here on the top, right in the middle, and then I'm gonna work my way out. And remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. So immediately I'm gonna go over to this side, and I'm going to insert. And this time I am using a glue gun with hot glue sticks, because this is a something that it was commissioned by a customer that I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm making her a few items for her home, and I want to make sure that they all match, and also I want to make sure that they all stay put together. So if you are making these arrangements to sell, I do recommend to go ahead and glue them, and the glue gun is really handy. I have for myself a few times already with the wreath, but you know what? It's part of the gig. So you just, if you burn yourself, just scream and keep working. My boss used to say, he used to say, if you get burned with a hot glue pen, he's like, just go outside and scream and come back and keep working. So that's what I learned, and now that's what I do. You know, if you burn yourself, just keep working. All right, so I have a few of these left, and remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. And you want to make sure that this foliage goes all the way around, and there is a hole right here, so I'm going to use my last one to put right there. And so I'm going to insert this guy right about here, making sure that that goes in like this, splitting all the foliage. Look how beautiful. So now I'm going to do the same with this eucalyptus to fill in the spots right here. And I'm gonna bring this guy over on this side. What is your favorite project you guys have ever done? Leave me a comment down below and let me know What is your favorite project that you have ever done for fall, whether it was a wreath, maybe decorating your hutch in your kitchen? I have so many ideas, you guys, that I'm going to be sharing this year. I remember I told you on a live that I usually don't do deco mesh material, but because I wanted to do something new this year, I wanted to take a class here in San Diego. This lady was giving a class on how to properly work with deco material, because you have to kind of know what you're doing with the deco mesh in order to not make it look really tacky. And so this lady was so good and I learned so much from her. So now I'm gonna be able to share all of those ideas with you, and I'm super excited. We're gonna start with the fall season. I have some fall swags and reads that I'm gonna be sharing with you, especially for those of you who do these DIYs to sell. I know so many of you have Etsy shops or have like eBay shops, and you do this to sell. So I have so many ideas that I'm gonna be giving you, and I really hope you are as excited as I am. And that's gonna be starting here soon on our fall season. And then of course, for Christmas, you want to make sure that you tune in for our Christmas season, because it's going to be jam-packed with not only DIYs, but then also decorating ideas. All right, you guys, so now that's all of our foliage, and as you can see, it really changed the look of the foliage. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my florals and my pumpkins, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so I wanted to use some of these beautiful hydrangeas. They are made out of burlap, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of this stem right here. Then I'm gonna add some glue, and I'm gonna start probably right here in the middle where I always like to start, which I call the crown. You start in the crown right here, and then you push down, making sure that that stays. So now I'm going to alternate to the next color, which is this mocha color. So this comes in a chocolate color and a mocha, and I think they're perfect for fall. So I'm gonna do two right there, and then I'm gonna do a third one on the mocha color. I'm sorry, the chocolate color. They're similar looking, but they're not the same, so I have to call them what they are. So I'm gonna make sure that I go all the way over here in the corner, making sure that it goes into the foam like this. Look how pretty that is, and it just alternates the colors. So now we're gonna do this guy right here, making sure that I take that tag off so she doesn't see tags on her things. I'm super excited to also work with customers that custom order these things for me. They contacted me and they liked my work, and so now they're buying these things from me. So I just thought it'd be really fun to share with you all of these DIYs in case that you have customers, or if you just want to do them for your home, you know, just to get a few ideas, new ideas for this fall season. So now I'm gonna push that one in like that. So that's cute. And so now what I'm going to do, I have one left, so I think I'm gonna stop right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these pumpkins, and remember what we did on the wreath. What we're going to do is I'm gonna grab a bunch of these skewers and I'm gonna cut them in half, and then I'm gonna do a little dot of glue right here. Then I'm gonna push this guy in so he stays glued in, and then I'm gonna add some glue to my pumpkin stick. Then I'm gonna start bringing those here and just pushing like that. And so I'm gonna do a second one. Remember, when you're working with these materials, because they're styrofoam, you have to make sure that you put glue so it doesn't come crashing down on you. Then you add a little bit of glue like that to the stick. Now I'm gonna add it right here, like that. So you wanna go kinda like this in a zigzag motion. I'm gonna do a third one. I'm gonna add this guy right here. Do you know what? I'm kind of liking working with a glue gun again. I haven't used it in so long, but now I'm like, oh, this is kind of convenient. So you guys might see me using this hot glue gun again a lot. All right, so now I have this one that I'm gonna add right over here. Once again, just add a little dab of glue, put your skewer in, or your stick or stake. Add a little bit of glue, let it run down so you don't burn yourself. I'm gonna come down over here. And just like that, you have a beautiful centerpiece. Let me give you a close-up. All right, everyone, so this is what the end result looks like for the centerpiece. I just went ahead and added a few more tails of the ribbon, and I filled in with the hydrangea, and I think it looks so beautiful to match the wreath that we made. And I really do hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned a few things about how to make a full centerpiece step by step. All right, everyone, so I want to show you real quick what this cute little basket looks like on the door. I am so obsessed with this pumpkin and the ribbon. Look how beautiful it complements each other, and it looks perfect, these neutral colors on the door. I also added up on the top a matching ribbon to go on our door hanger, and I just love these beautiful flowers from Shinoda Design Center. They are made out of burlap. Look how beautiful those hydrangeas are. They complement the lilies so perfectly, and they look so real, you guys. But I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna fill in the inside of it. So to do that, I have got to get my pumpkin out. So I'm gonna just get this guy out. I'm gonna put it back in because I might use this in another DIY. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put this candlestick right here in the middle, and I'm gonna start filling in with some of these ornaments. I want the whole bottom covered, but I do have to alternate the colors so they are all over the place. Add in some black. You can move that little candlestick holder because we want it to be full of ornaments. I'm gonna move it forward, back, forward, some on the corner. And that's just gonna give you, it's gonna give you that full look. And I'm gonna add, oh, I think that will be, yeah, that's it. It doesn't hold anymore. Then I'm gonna bring my candle and I'm gonna set it right here in the middle. And I'm gonna close, making sure that this guy's secure. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right here for now so that we can get started with the rest of our DIY. And now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to cover this 16 gauge wire with some florist tape. It's very important that you cover it with tape because that way it won't hurt your fingers. And look, the way I do it is I just put my roll of tape right here. You pull a little bit. Now this is a tacky wax paper. So when you first put it right here on the top, all you have to do is roll it a little bit. And as you roll, you have to pull the tape. Has a stretch to it, and when you pull, it becomes tacky. So that way you can not hurt your fingers while you're working with this. So I'm just gonna make sure that I do this real quick. It's an extra step, you guys, but I promise you, you will not hurt your little fingers. All right, so I'm gonna put that over here to the side. I have a friend who's a chef, and every time that they do something like that, they say reserve, like reserve, put it to the side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a cute little bow. And for that, I'm gonna bring out my scissors because I will be needing them. And I'm gonna start with this beautiful black and white D. Stevens ribbon. And for this, I'm going to dovetail. So I'm gonna start with a cute little dovetail. So I'm gonna do probably like about 6 to 8 inches. And I'm just gonna do a cute little bow, about probably 5-inch bow. And you fold down and then you bring it back up and you start gathering with your fingers. This is the trick, is to always spin and have the pretty side up. I'm gonna cut flat right here because I wanna continue adding some bows to my bow. So I'm gonna add some of this deco material just to make it a little fluffier. I feel like this deco material will actually add some girth to our bow. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the bottom, about the same. And then I'm gonna do 2 loops of this deco material. It's gonna give it a little bit of shine because the deco material has that purple thread that I love that has some really pretty shine to it, or sheen to it. Are you guys enjoying this series? I'm having so much fun helping you decorate your home for fall. And I cannot wait for you guys to see what's next. Really, it's going to be a magical season coming up next. All right, so we have 2. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to introduce the next one. And for that, I'm going to put another tail right here without letting go. You know, I used to do bows different. This is almost like a funky bow, but it's all done in your hand. So you have to spin. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch right here. And then I'm going to do it all over again, just upside down like this. And then I'm gonna cut right here. We're gonna fluff all of this in a second like that. And so now I'm gonna introduce the last ribbon, which is going to be this orange one. And this one I wanna give it a longer tail because it's gonna be our accent ribbon. It's gonna be on the very top. Then you pinch right here. Once you pinch, you bring it back up like this. And then you pinch and you twist. And then you bring it back up. And for this one, because it's the smallest one, you always wanna give it an extra loop just to make sure that it's all showing. Because it is a little one, well, you wanna make sure that you add a little bit more. All right, so I'm gonna put that to the side. And for this bow, I'm going to do a zip tie to make sure that everything is zip tied together and secure very good, because you don't want your stuff to be falling off as you're having dinner with your friends, right? Oh, it's so hard sometimes with one hand, but we'll get it done. There you go. So now we're going to push really hard. Now, before I do that, I want to make sure that I introduce this wire that we just taped, because that's going to be what we use to secure to the lantern into the swag. So just push really tight. So now I'm going to cut the excess. So now what you want to do is you want to fluff all of these cute little bows, and also you want to dovetail all of your tails. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so the next step is to assemble our swag, and for that I'm going to bring out all of my stems that I have, and don't be afraid to cut your stems, all right? So what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm just gonna go ahead and bend one up. I just need one up. That's gonna be our core right here where we'll attach all of it. And then I'm gonna bring this guy right here, and also I need to remove this pesky tag. How many of you prep your work before you start working and get rid of all of your tags? And then as I go, also I wanna make sure that I cut some of these stems, because I don't want them to be showing everywhere, all right? So I'm gonna add this guy right here. I'll cut it in a second. I wanna make sure that it's like showing right here. I'm gonna cut this stem. And then I'm gonna add this guy right here, but for this particular one, I kinda wanna make sure that I put some on the top. So what you wanna do is you wanna spin them up and around. And then also these ones, you wanna make sure that you play with them and fluff them and make them look more voluminous. Like this, voluminous, voluptuous, however you say that word. I'm gonna cut right here at the core. Then I'm gonna push them back like that. So this is kind of like what you have right here. Remember to push some of them back. Oh my gosh, I forgot a tag. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this series. Be sure to let your friends know. They will not want to miss any of the Christmas videos, trust me. All right, so that's what we have. So we have some fall. That's gonna be our swag right here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna introduce this cute little bow that we made that is going to be so much fun. So I'm gonna add this right here. You know what, I'm gonna zip tie this together, but I'm gonna do it with a little zip tie to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. Okay. Oh, there's another tag, oh my gosh. I thought I cut them all. You guys, let me tell you, we do so many projects a day that sometimes I dream of tags that they're chasing me on my sleep. Isn't that funny? So I'm gonna cut this guy right here. And so now I'm gonna add the bow. It is easier to just let go and you don't have to like really press. Look how cute is this. We're gonna add this bow right here. And then we're going to attach really tight on the back, about 2 spins. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna add into our lantern. Let me bring our lantern to the center. And I'm gonna just attach this right here. Give it a few spins. And let me see, let me spin it to me so I can see what's going on right here. You might wanna just give your bows a little fluff. And look how cute this is, you guys. This was basically a few minutes, as you can see, in real time. Oh, there's a tail that is not dovetail either. All right, so let's dovetail this last one right here, because some of you have called me out on some of the ribbons that I forgot to dovetail, and well, I'm trying to be the best if I'm going to lead by example. All right, so there you go. Look how cute this is, you guys. It is super simple, super easy. All we have to do is turn our little candle on, and you have now a beautiful fall Halloween swag. What do you think? For this last fall DIY, what I want to do is show you a swag alternative for your front door. Remember at the beginning of the video, I shared with you the swag that we did in a previous video, and it was absolutely beautiful. But if you are more on a budget, I'm gonna give you a small alternative on how to create something beautiful for your door this fall. And we're gonna start with some fall foliages and some of the items that we've been using throughout the video. So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna start with this fall foliage from Hobby Lobby, and I'm gonna do 2 going down and stagger them like this. You might wanna give it a bend to one side so it gets fluffier, like that. And then I'm gonna do 1 up here. That's gonna be our core right here. You wanna make sure that you bring this one down like this and get rid of this tag. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring in one of these black little sparklers that I love, because that's gonna help us fill in right here the void that we have. And then I'm gonna add one right here on the top. Remember, what goes up must come down, so we have to make sure that we use the same elements up and down. Now also remember, whatever happens on the left happens on the right, so be sure to alternate the sides when you are doing something like this. So now I'm gonna add this cute little pig that came from Walmart, and that's gonna be more of our filler. So I'm gonna put 1 up, and then I'm going to insert 1 going down like this. And now, oh my gosh, it's getting full right here, but it's okay, you can use all your hand. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring one of these beautiful purple sparklers that I call the sparklers, and I'm gonna add it right here, and we're gonna fluff it a little bit so all of them show. And then I'm going to add this really cute purple one going up here to kind of balance it off. And we'll adjust in a second to see if we need to be adjusted. And then I'm gonna add this one right here on the bottom as well. And I'm gonna introduce this guy right here, like this. And we'll start fluffing in a second, but the first thing we wanna do is make sure that we tie all of this together. And I'm gonna use a zip tie for that. And I'm going to pull really tight to tie them all together, then we're gonna fluff. But first I'm gonna cut the excess of this zip tie right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna put that to the side. We'll fluff in a second. Now what I want to do is, I want to use all of the leftover ribbon that I have from this. Oh, that's actually a lot that I have left over. I did not know that. But what I want to do is I want to do simple loops. So what I want to do is leave a tail about that big, and then I'm going to just do 1 cute loop like that. And then I'm going to do a longer tail, and I'm going to cut right here. And so I'm going to introduce now my black and white one. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do a tail, and then I'm going to do a cute loop like this, and then I'm going to cut right here, roll that tail at the end. So now what I want to do is I want to bring the Decor material ribbon, and I'm going to also do a big long tail, and then I'm going to do a loop right here, and I'm going to cut again. See how easy this is? All you have to do is single loop. Now I'm going to bring this beautiful orange 1-inch ribbon. I'm gonna do the same. Remember, because he is the smallest of them all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 loops of him. So I'm gonna do yet another one right here. So I'm gonna bring it over to the other side. I'm gonna see if I can swap. Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on this side, and then I'm gonna do a loop. And now I'm going to, well, that's all there is of him, so that's good. So now you want to fluff, make sure that you have them about the same height. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a wire, not a zip tie this time, but a wire, because I'm gonna make sure that I attach it to my swag. So basically just go like this and pull back really tight. You can measure right here, like I can see this a little bit too floppy. So I'm gonna go down a little bit, make sure they're all at the same height. Perfect. And so now I'm going to twist like this, and I'm gonna grab my swag, and I'm gonna attach right here in the middle. And I'm going to swirl real quick. So now I'm going to fluff my swag, and I'm gonna start separating all of my stems, making sure that they all show like this. All of the stems that have some foliage in them, just make sure you fluff them and thin them out so they can start showing, and then we'll fluff all of our ribbons at the end. So every single swag, every single stem, you want to make sure that you attach to make it look more abundant like this. These sparkles you want to put to the side, and you want to fluff. this black and white right here, you want to put to the side by giving them a little touch like that, and you want to fluff and see how much fuller it became. I'm gonna fluff these ribbons, put it in the door, and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. All right, so I just want to show you how beautiful your door can look if you are looking to put a swag that is absolutely bountiful and actually colorful at the same time. I really love working on this simple yet elegant design, and I really hope that you guys are inspired. As you can see, it's not a lot of things that you need to create something beautiful for your door this fall. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below. All right, so we're gonna do this fall DIY in 2 steps. To decorate the lantern, the inside is gonna be done first. And in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my hot glue gun, and I'm gonna add some hot glue to this piece of foam. Just be generous, remember to be generous so it sticks to your little tray. You really need it to stick to the little tray because that's how you're going to carry your candle into the lantern. All right, so once it's stuck like that, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and put your candle in here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on so you guys can see what it looks like. And I'm going to start by adding some of these foliages, but I want to add the tallest ones first. So I'm going to add this one right here, like this. And then I'm going to start to cover the perimeter of this like this, making sure that you go up and down. And then also that you spin around as you go so you can cover all of the perimeter. Remember, up, down, and because I don't want it to cover the front, this is going to be the front, then what I need to do is I need to add all of the tall ones over to the back, but remember to always cover the bottom of it. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one right here in the front like that, and just start to spin around like this. You want to cover this whole perimeter without covering the front of it. This is going to be super simple, but it's going to be really striking once it's all said and done. So I'm going to continue to go around the perimeter just with these short ones right here. And remember, what goes up must come down. I'm going to grab my wire cutters over on this side to cut a few of these ones short so I can go ahead and cover like that. Perfect. I'm gonna add one more right here. Then what I want to do is I want to grab some of these bittersweet, and I'm gonna do the same. So I'm gonna basically make sure that I have some going forward and sideways, and I'm gonna do one over here to this side. Basically what we're doing is framing the candle with foliages and bittersweet. All right, I think a few more on the front like this. We want it to look wild. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these pumpkins. I'm gonna add one right here. Then I'm gonna cut this one a little bit shorter, and I'm gonna add this guy over here like this. And then I'm gonna grab this other one. I'm going to bring it over to this side right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're gonna grab some leftover moss from a past project. So I'm gonna pull out my moss, and I'm gonna get little clumps like this, and I'm gonna bunch them together, and then you're gonna stick them where you can see your foam. Now you could have done this step first. However, the reason why I didn't do it first is because this foam is really difficult to work with to put the stems. And then also I want the moss to really show. So if you put the moss in first, what's gonna happen is that the foliage is going to cover it. And I want this moss to look natural. Look at that, it just covers the mechanics, it gives it a little bit of space. Okay, so the next step is to decorate the outside of our lantern, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm gonna start with my burlap ribbon. So I'm gonna get it out of this little roll, and I wanna give it a tail probably about, I wanna say about 10 inches. I'm gonna dovetail the end first. I'm gonna measure it like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch, and I'm gonna give myself about a 5-inch loop. Remember, there's going to be some greenery, so we want it to be very prominent. And I don't know if you know, but the way to check if your tails are even is to fold them down like this. And I can already tell this one's taller just by pulling like this. So what I need to do is I need to give it a little give, pull back down, and look, now they're perfect. So I'm gonna stop right there, and then I'm going to introduce my shiny ribbon. I'm gonna drop it on the floor, and I'm gonna give it a shorter tail, about 2 inches shorter. I'm gonna introduce the tail right there. Then I'm going to pinch right here about the same size of my other bow. I'm gonna add right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one more burlap bow. But this time I wanna make sure that it's about 2 inches shorter than the last one. So they stagger together like this. And then you just pinch. Make sure you fluff as you go. The beauty of this ribbon is that it's not printed, so you don't really have to worry about twisting. Just make sure that you pinch really good. And so now I'm gonna do the same with this other ribbon. Look how easy this was to create this beautiful bow with 4 loops. And I'm gonna go ahead and just basically bend right there and pinch right here on the bottom. Super easy and simple. I'm gonna give this one another bow because I want it to be the prominent ribbon. So I'm basically just gonna pinch right here, and then I'm gonna come over to this side. And then I'm gonna pinch one more time, and that's going to be our end tail right there. So now we have 3 of the printed, 2 of the burlap. And you know what? I have just enough ribbon for maybe 1 more. So let's see what that looks like. You know, that's all about playing with these bows. Yeah, I think it needs it. Look at that. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it yet another one here. And now we have enough ribbon just for another tail. So now I'm gonna grab my wire, and I'm gonna go through all of this without letting go of your core and pulling really, really tight like this. And then you twist. And now that it's twisted, you can really fluff these bows. Make sure that they all show. Oh, this one's not dovetail. Remember what I tell you about dovetailing? Did you ever had a ribbon that was not dovetail? Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you ever not dovetail your ribbon. I don't know anyone that, well, I've been to a few homes. But if you are a crafter, you know you have to dovetail your ribbon, right? All right, so the finessing of the ribbon is what takes the longest, because you want to make sure that you pull every single one of them like this. And perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab these 2 right here, and I'm gonna stagger them together like this, and I'm gonna bend some of them like that over to that side because I want them to drip over to the other side. And then this one right here, I want to make sure that all of these branches do show. And so this will be our core right here. That's where I'm going to introduce my ribbon, and I'll make sure that all the tails are going down. Just make sure that you pull really tight, and then you spin it around like this. And look at that. So now, okay, so now I need to bring the inside of it first. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just want to give you a quick look at the end product, and I just love how bountiful this looks. The candle just gives it that warm fall feeling, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. As you guys can see, creating a beautiful lantern is super easy, and it can be really affordable. I cannot wait to read your comments. I'm gonna grab my 2 foams. I'm gonna measure this one right here, and I'm gonna start with this one over on this side. And what you need to do is you need to go ahead and mark the second one so that they are tied on the container. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my florist knife. Let me remove this container real quick. And I'm just gonna make a cut all the way down to that. And then this foam, I need to make sure, I need to measure, make sure that that is the one that's gonna go down. So that is gonna be pretty snug, but it's gonna work. So then with this one right here, what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it in the middle. I'll make sure you guys can see. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the bottom because I want these foams to be raised up. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to back like this. Then I'm just gonna push down. So as you guys can see, it's pretty snug, and it's just about 1/4 of an inch from the line of the container right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is very simple. So I'm just gonna start inserting flowers, and you start right here. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and then we're gonna cap one right here on the bottom, and it's gonna start filling in our container with flowers. And we're gonna use as many of this particular color as we have, because we want it to be really packed and tight. So that's 2, like that. And for this particular centerpiece, I'm not gonna use any foliage, because when you do an ombre effect, you don't want any foliage to disrupt the coloration of your centerpiece. So from the very light one, we're gonna gradually move towards a more darker on the same shade. It has to be on the same shade. You have to use about 2 types of flowers per shade. So that way you have a variety of colors, you're gonna have a texture. And as you guys can see, this is super simple. Then we're gonna move to the lighter orange one, which is this mom right here. And you need to make sure that they're pretty packed, so that way they are giving you texture, movement. So as you guys can see, I'm putting them really, really packed. That's 6. I'm gonna stop at 6 of this one. Then I'm gonna move to the darker orange one, and I'm gonna lift the petals of this particular flower. And then I'm going to finish right here. I'm gonna introduce some of this hydrangea. And I have a few more of the hydrangea right here. And then I'm going to cap with some of this sunflower. And as you guys can see, I ran out of this flower, so I have some of this sunflower right here, so I'm gonna poke it out and I'm gonna bring it over to this side, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap it for one of these orange ones, so it's still pretty tight. And I feel like this one right here also needs to be moved over to this corner. So that is the perfect way to create that ombre effect for this beautiful centerpiece. I have one last one, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add it right here. Why not? Just go ahead and open your flowers and push as far down. And look how fabulous this centerpiece turned out. With just a few dollars of flowers, a beautiful container, you can have a long and low centerpiece to match your wreath. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous, but I cannot wait to read your comments. This is going to be super simple, so I'm actually just gonna push everything aside and I'm going to get started. The very first thing I want to do is create a cute little swag. And for that, what we're going to do is we're going to get our longest piece, like this little bushel of wheat. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna separate it in 2 and I'm gonna push some of them up to kind of get a core. So right here in the middle where we separate is going to be our core, where everything's gonna radiate from, all right? So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these leftover pieces and I'm going to stagger them, one facing up. Remember, what goes up must come down. So you wanna make sure that you never let go of your core right here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one of these berry foliages. This actually was a pick that I took apart from Hobby Lobby, because sometimes, you know, you pay for your items, might as well just go ahead and use them. Now, what I want to mention right here is that when you put one up like that, you need to come to the opposite side to stagger them. So that way it creates more texture when you finish your swag. Then I'm gonna grab a few of these berries and I'm gonna just stagger them up and down, creating this radiating motion from all over my swag. Then what you need to do is you need to grab your pipe cleaner and your zip tie, and we're gonna zip tie all of this together real quick. As tight as you can without letting go of your core. That way, well, it doesn't come falling apart. Okay, so then I'm gonna cut the excess. I'm gonna put that to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna create a cute little bow. And I just wanted a small bow because it is a small lantern. So I'm gonna leave just a small tail, probably about 4 inches. And I'm gonna do a cute little bow, making sure that it's proportionate to my lantern. And if you guys haven't, I'm sure by now everybody knows how to make a cute little bow. It's super easy. This is gonna be a simple bow that doesn't have to overpower our lantern. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your pipe cleaner, push through, and give it a twist like this, and then we'll fluff. You don't want a bigger bow than this because you don't want to overpower the top of your lantern with all of your goodies. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring this swag and I'm gonna grab this pumpkin that's going to be our focal point. I'm gonna join it right here. Then I'm going to add the bow to it. And really tightly, I'm going to secure all of this together by spinning it around like this. And then I'm gonna put this to the side. We'll fluff in a second. Now what I wanna do is I'm going to open my cute little lantern. I'm gonna insert this little candle that is battery operated, and I'm going to turn it on like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my swag on top of my lantern. This would be really cute for a side table. This could be really cute for an entryway table. I've done a chandelier with multiple of these. If you guys haven't seen that, I'm going to link it down below. It was a Christmas chandelier that it was just so cute with multiple lanterns decorated for Christmas. And so basically you just wanna attach this to the back very tightly. And once you have that done, you wanna fluff your bow. Make sure that you see some of that bow and that pumpkin. I'm gonna spin it around to me so I can see what I'm doing, perfect. And at this point, what you want to do is also you wanna give it a little curvature, like that. And just like that, you have a cute little lantern. So what do you guys think? Wasn't this video a lot of fun? I just absolutely love inspiring you to decorate your home with these beautiful DIYs, and I cannot wait to read your comment. So leave me a comment down below and let me know which out of all of these fall decorating ideas and DIYs was your favorite. And then also don't forget, I'm gonna put a playlist right here with so many more decorating ideas for fall to inspire you to create something beautiful in your home this fall season. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And as always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.